It sounds like you're being offered a salary, but you feel like based on your experience and credentials, it should be different. How is it best for a candidate to handle that when what they're offered isn't quite what they think they should make?
Are we talking higher than what you think you deserve or lower than what you think you deserve?
I mean, I doubt anyone would be upset about higher. I'm
I
guessing
mean, yeah,
lower.
maybe it's high, but you still want to address it. But either way, if you want to counter an offer, that's what you're asking about, countering an offer, which is when you're offered a job at a certain pay scale and you want to counter it and say, hey, I think I deserve $5,000, $10,000 more than what you're offering. Put it into a context, right? It's okay to counter. Never, not counter. A lot of the time, the first offer may be something that the company is able to go up from, right? And so if you don't counter, you wouldn't know. So it's okay to counter. However, put it into a context that, again, like everyone's been saying, is strategic, right? So talk about, given XYZ skills that I have or XYZ experience that I have, or given my previous earnings history, right? If that comes to play for you, if you can speak to it and say, okay, I have grown my earnings over my career up to XYZ points in dollar amount. And so I really would love to be around that number. However, I'm open to discussing further. If that's something that we're able to do, then the potential employer can say, okay, this job is $65,000 on a budget, but this candidate, we think it's really worth it. And just disclose at the very end that they've been earning 75 plus for the last 5 years, right? Okay, so maybe let's try to make an adjustment. Where can we go up? Or can we offer them something else like more paid time off or something that's an incentive to help balance out the fact that we can't afford that dollar amount? Or can we say, okay, come in a year from now or 6 months from now, we'll revisit this number and maybe increase it. So you want to give them options when you counter. You don't want to just say, that's not a good number for me. Arms crossed. What else can you do? You never want to do that because employers will let you walk. However, if you put it into a context of construction, saying, this is who I am, this is why I deserve more, or this is why I should earn more, what can we do? Then you put the ball back in their court and allow them to kind of come up with something creative.
If you're working now and you get no benefits, and this comes with a really robust benefit package that is a pretty nominal contributory portion, okay, what's the net on there of you paying for your own benefits? Are you getting time off at your current job that you may not now? Does this job offer an opportunity to get a bonus? It's not just about the actual number. I can tell you, working in a number of startups now, a lot of startups have a one job, one comp philosophy when you walk in the door. So everybody makes the same and there's no negotiating. And I've actually changed my pitch to tell people what the salary and the philosophy of the comp is on the first call. Because I don't want to go through everything and then think you're going to get to negotiate with me and I can't negotiate. So you need to understand what you want in the entire package. Is it just the actual number? Like, hey, I need $65,000 to live and they're offering me 55. Okay, that's different than if you need $10,000 more. Can't guarantee you're going to get it. Maybe they give you a sign-on bonus. There are other things like Kwame said, but look at the whole package and what you have now and what the opportunities in that company will be for you in 6 months, a year, 2 years.
In the first conversation, I always say, it's illegal to ask like what somebody was making. So you want to ask, what are you looking for? What are your salary expectations? And usually at that point, I adjust expectations based on where they're falling. So if somebody tells me, I'm looking for 20K more than the job, I might say, well, this is our budget. And, would you accept if all things aligned at this budget? And, sometimes they might have to think about it, or sometimes they were just reaching for the stars with their expectations, right? And so they might say, oh, yes. So if we've talked about salary and, you kind of said you were okay with the number and we get through the whole interview process, and then at the end, you're asking for 20K more, it's like, well, I've put all my cards on the table. Like I've told you already what it pays, and I've talked up our benefits, and I've given you all of the, I've told you everything. So at this point, it's like we kind of went through this interview process. Now you've wasted, the manager's time, you've wasted your own time. when, I was just being very transparent and honest with you about what the budget was. So, just kind of using tact. So if they've already told you what the budget is and you were kind of like cool with going through the interview process, then you may not want to ask for an extra 20K at the end, because it's not going to really go anywhere and it's going to make you look like, well, what? We've already talked about it. So sometimes you just want to use like real tact. Now, there are some companies that won't talk about salary until they get to the offer stage. And at that point, who knows, you could have totally wasted your time. There's just no way to know. And I think at that point, you can use a different strategy, like kind of, I think what Kwame was saying about how you can leave it in their court about how they can be creative to get to where you want to be, or potentially it's just a non-starter. So yeah, I think that if you can talk to the recruiter early on and just kind of figure out what that compensation package looks like, so that you are kind of going into this with the most knowledge and the most tact at the end of it, is a good strategy.
The only two things I would want to add is like research to make sure that what you want is realistic for the work and the role that you'll be doing. So, Google, Glassdoor, all these other whatever, analytics that can kind of tell you what that job title on average makes in this market. Because if you're looking at the Bay Area and comparing it to what someone may make, that number could change. So just make sure that you're looking for the right number for the role, and the work that you'll be doing and what you'll be contributing. And the other thing is, and I think Kwame and Artie hit on this, but at this point, probably everyone, what experience would you be gaining in the role? And is that trade-off worth it for you? Because not saying take anything. And Kwame said already, like always, negotiate your ask or your non-negotiables, right? But if you're gaining experience that you really want, and you're getting a decent package, what is it you can do? Like, are there growth opportunities? Maybe that's the time to ask some follow-up questions or something, because there may be some trade-offs where like the juice is worth the squeeze a little bit. It might be worth taking that job to get your foot in the door, to get their brand on your resume and to align all of those good things. It may be worth it. And then you can look at, in a year or so, what your next right move is in that organization or outside of it.
What's something that you know now that you wish you knew when you were at Brooklyn College? And Regina's an honorary Brooklyn College alum, but wherever she went to college. So I'm going to start with Janelle.